Who's gonna,
We have a new speaker.
so do I need to turn these
So,
down?
Progress.
okay, should I turn it down?
Allow the microphone.
So participants, so
Okay.
far we have Molly and Jason Dawson.
English. Okay. This will come up. Okay, we good to go? I'm going to call the Nantucket Land Bank Commission hybrid open meeting, our first one, to order. And I'm going to start by asking my fellow commissioners to vote to approve the agenda.
So moved to approve the agenda.
Thank you, John.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Aye. And the chair votes aye, so we are officially. So I'm going to go through the public participation guidelines, and I'm welcoming everybody to our first online Land Bank Commission meeting. As this is new to us, we have kept the agenda light to give ourselves time to work out any unforeseen issues. Please be patient as we grow through this process. Our hope that going forward, every meeting will run more smoothly than the last. We're very pleased that you're able to join us both in person and remotely tonight. We're using Zoom webinar for this meeting, which allows the public to participate as an attendee. The chair can request that members of the public provide their names for purposes of keeping accurate minutes of the meeting. Attendees will join in listening mode, and we ask that everyone display their names correctly. Attendees can click the raise hand button if they wish to speak. The chair will call on those who have raised their hands in the order they were raised. All questions should be directed through the chair. Public comment. Anyone who wishes to speak should raise their hand, and the chair will call all those who have raised their hands in the order they were raised. Please keep your public comment to 3 minutes or less. With that, we got anyone up there?
Looks like we have public comments.
Jason has a raised hand. Jason, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll be quick. I just want to thank you and the commission and Rachel for making the Zoom hybrid meeting happen. It is much appreciated. And I'm sitting here at my house with my kids who are home after school, and I wouldn't be able to attend this meeting otherwise. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. That's much appreciated to get a positive feedback on our first acknowledged public attendee. Thank you. Right.
We have another public comment.
Another public comment. Tucker Holland. Please speak.
Can you hear me, Mr. Chair?
I can indeed, Tucker. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to echo Jason in just thanking and applauding the commission and the director and her staff for making this possible to participate in this manner. And also, I wanted to extend a personal thank you to the commission and all of the staff on the eve of our son Eli having his Eagle Scout ceremony tomorrow. It was extremely gratifying for him to be able to work with the commission on his project around signage at some of the more popular fishing ponds. And I just wanted to say a personal thank you.
Thank you, Tucker. And I would also, I'm sure when I could speak for the board, which I rarely do, in thanking the staff for pulling this off, because it's been I know behind the scenes, it's been a great deal of work, and they've done an amazing job, and they've helped greatly with me, who I suffer from hearing disabilities. So I'm now looking, I can read what you say. So, but thank you for that, Tucker. And do we have anyone else? No. Okay, I would move on to Rachel for
Staff announcements.
staff announcements.
All right, so I just want to thank everyone also for bearing with us in our first online meeting. I'm really glad to see we have participants both in the room and online. It's very exciting. And as for staff announcements, I have a couple updates. Staff have been out and about doing a variety of things. We had almost the whole staff go to the Mass Land Trust Conference in Amherst, Mass. And then we also had staff and Neil at the master planning event, which was last Friday evening and Saturday morning, which was great. We had a number of staff that participated in the litter derby, and the land bank got second place, which is very fun. It's always a great event and everyone really enjoys it. So that's fantastic. The other thing I wanted to bring up is we have a Maxi Pond fish stocking. We have a Maxi Pond fishing tournament this weekend, which is the children's trout tournament. And the ponds were stocked last weekend, or last Friday perhaps. But anyways, that's coming up this weekend. So if anybody wants to attend that, that'll be fun. The other thing is, and Emily's going to talk a little bit about this tonight in her environmental update, we have a Southern Pine Beetle talk on Friday evening at the Athenaeum and 2 walks this weekend, one being hosted by Emily and one being hosted by Danielle O'Dell of the Conservation Foundation. So it's a collaborative effort and educational free walks and lecture. So I think that's it for my staff updates. Does anybody have any questions?
See. Thank you, Rachel.
Move on to agricultural management.
Agricultural, perfect. This is 19 Walgwinet, Eat Fly Spring.
Hang on for 1 second. Did we vote the agenda yet?
Yes, we
We did.
did vote the agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. It was on,
Okay, right after
That
that.
was the first.
it was on my script.
Right, okay, now back to agricultural management. Thank you.
Yes. Hey, welcome to the table. Please tell us what you're going to do and what you've been doing.
Susan has your presentation.
Okay.
And you can bring that up.
Yeah.
Can I introduce you quickly? So thank you so much for everyone who's here tonight. This is Aidan Feeney of Fogtown Farm. He has licensed property on land bank land at 19 Walwinet Road and Mount Vernon Farm, which he is currently farming. He also farms at Sustainable and is doing great things. So I'll let him tell you a little bit more about it and take it away.
Sure. So how do I change the slides on this? Can I just click? Just scroll down. Okay, all right. So we're going in our 7th season of production. We're a small farm. We grow vegetables, organic vegetables. And with our new lease at Walwinet, we're getting into berries and flowers. We're a small team. It's run by my wife, 2 full-time employees, and a handful of part-time employees. So each year, we're growing more and more vegetables, and I think the takeaway point for me and for you guys is that there's a huge need for more local food on the island. We're growing food 10 months out of the year, and there's a huge demand for it 10 months out of the year. So it's not like a July and August business. Like, it's a lot of local people that really want to eat, good vegetables. So for the Walwinet property, we were able to start planting that last year, and we planted 1 field into berry crops. Those are raspberries, blackberries, currants, elderberries, and another field was planted into lavender. The idea with both of those is hopefully we're going to be able to start harvesting them this year, and we'll be able to retail them, but also do U-pick for the public. And our immediate goals for this property is we want to set up a self-serve farm stand on the property, because there's a lot of people in that neighborhood who are, once a week asking me how they can shop at that property. And we also want to start doing workshops and demonstrations. Those would be free to the public, where we can teach hands-on farm skills. And then the end of the season, we would like to build a propagation greenhouse behind the house that I'm living in. And that would be a propagation greenhouse it would support the production needs of the Cisco farm as well.
Is that on the site of the old swimming pool?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just close to all the utilities and everything, so it kind of makes sense. So for 19 Wall Win It, what I'm asking permission from the commission for is.
Throwing babies?
Yeah, that's a lavender field. Yeah. But, to operate the self-serve farm stand, to host these public events, like I was saying, because I wasn't sure about, inviting the public onto the property for things like UPIC. And then also to run electricity to both of the outbuildings, I would do that on my own expense, and to build the propagation greenhouse, which I would do on my own expense as well. So that's the ask for 19 Wall Win It. And I can move on to Cisco if you guys want.
Yep, in the end, we will.
Okay. So the Cisco farm is where we've been farming the last 6 seasons, and that is our vegetable production area. And long story short, our goal is to grow more vegetables there, but particularly for the shoulder seasons and the winter. And we aim to do that a couple different ways. We want to grow, now that we have more acreage, we can grow more storage crops. So we can grow things like carrots and storage onions and winter squash and all those things, and sell them throughout the winter. And then also a modest increase in our greenhouse production. So this is our new license on Mount Vernon. And what I'm proposing is building 3 16-foot by 96-foot greenhouses, each one 1,500 square feet. And other than that, just continuing to do what we're doing and growing a lot of vegetables. So
That you're still on your percentage.
we haven't hashed out the exact, but it's definitely under 10%. So yeah, I'm excited to farm the land, and I'm grateful for all the help that you guys have given thus far as the fencing and getting water there is huge, and just the land access. So I'm just hoping you guys consider those proposals. That way we can continue to grow a lot of food.
So Rachel,
So I think, is there any commissioner questions and discussion?
Yeah, a couple of questions. You mentioned in the first slide, public access.
Yeah.
One of the reasons that, one of the things the land bank does is we provide public access to all our properties. And that particular property has a very historic spring, as you're well aware. How do you see the relationship between the farm and public access?
So right now, the people already come to the spring and everything. I love the idea there.
Where do they park? Do they park in the lot in front of the?
Typically, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then what I would like to do is have people park right in front of the garage if they're shopping. But yeah, I mean, the farm stand itself would be pretty small. And to run the UPICs, that would be like a scheduled thing where it wouldn't be like 20 cars all at once. It would be small intervals of people.
Yeah, I'm all for public access, and that's why I raised the question.
Yeah.
I want to be sure that, because there's that wonderful trail that goes up behind the property and up into the hills there.
Mhm.
And so.
Yeah, so that was part of when I fenced that backfield. I made sure all that stuff was open. And I guess because we have to keep the deer out, I was trying to make it so people could walk the perimeter without getting in the fenced area, just because we don't want the gates open and stuff. But yeah, I mean, we're hoping to have people there for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Greenhouses, you said there were 16 by 96.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the standard greenhouse is 32 foot wide. That's like, if you're getting like a NRCS grant, that's what they'll pay for. I could pull up some images of what they look like. I really chopped this presentation down to make it short for you guys, but I had pictures of them.
Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, those are pretty modest greenhouses in my opinion. The propagation greenhouse would be a little bigger. That one's 24 foot by 48 foot. So not as long, but a little wider and a little higher.
Can you read, what are the dimensions of the ones that you and Dan have on the Mount Vernon property now?
16 by 100.
So they're very similar to what's
Yeah.
at Sustainable,
Yeah.
those hoop houses. Yeah, exactly. So it's 3 of those, and that's a very, so it'll be very, very similar in scope.
And where are you gonna locate the greenhouses?
So the proposed location is here on the north end of the Mount Vernon, of my section of the Mount Vernon lot. The reason I put them there is because that's the flattest area and the most well-drained area. And it made it so I could have 2 areas that are both 190 feet long with some tractor headlands for turning around. And then the well is proposed to be here because we're gonna trench electricity from Sustainable to put the well right here. So it kind of made, from my point of view, the most sense to have them in that corner up there.
See, that's the brewery on the right.
Yes, yeah, and so you have, the brewery has one of their production fields
Yeah.
right behind it, then you have the brewery right there. And there's the thin little chunk of Dillon's thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And John, do
You know,
you,
Mark is here. I mean,
Oh, welcome, Mark.
Mark is here.
Mark is here and he can talk freely.
Oh, good. Mark, do you have anything to say about Aiden's request?
Might be,
Is he muted?
he might be muted. I can't tell if he's muted.
Isn't there a universal sign for mute now?
He's here.
He's here. You don't
He's
have to, you don't have to promote him or anything?
I did. I promoted him.
Okay.
Okay, so he should be able to hear us.
Yep.
Okay,
So are there any other questions or comments
no,
by the
I
commission?
mean, you obviously need greenhouses to grow food. I mean, I don't have any problems with any of this, and it's going to be a pretty casual thing, and we'll win it like the drop in for food and vegetables.
Yeah, I would make a motion to approve with the greenhouses and well, when, so people come forward.
Okay, thank you. Can we, before we vote on, can we make sure that there's no public questions or comments on Aiden's presentation?
How do we do that?
So if anybody has questions or comments from the public, feel free to raise your hand. If we don't see anything, we will move on to a vote.
And I'll second John's motion.
Am I clear on the motion?
Yep, we're gonna have to have a roll call vote though, so, but we've got to get Mark.
Mark is, I can see him on the screen now, so.
And I can hear you if you can hear me.
Oh, good. I don't see you now. Oh, good. Before, we're at the stage, we've got a motion from John, a second from Alan. Do you have any, comments? We're not seeing any public comments, but do we have any, as a commissioner, have any comments?
I do not. I came in a little late because of some technical difficulties, so ready to proceed.
Thank you. I will take a roll then. John, how do you vote?
Aye.
Alan, how do you? Mark, how do you vote?
I suppose I should recuse because I'm not familiar with what you discussed.
He's recusing.
Okay.
because he didn't.
Get the whole thing?
Yes.
Okay, and the chair votes aye. So unanimous.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much
very
for your
much.
time tonight and your presentation.
Thank you.
It's fantastic.
Right.
All right. Do you want to, can you turn on the closed captioning up there too? Nope, we cannot. Okay, forget that. So next on our agenda tonight,
I can't believe sharing.
no, it's fine.
Because you're sharing your.
That's fine. So next on the agenda tonight is property management, and we're going to have a quarterly update from Emily Goldstein Murphy, who is the Director of Environmental and Agricultural Resources.
Mr. Chair, my usual comment, would you identify who I don't see in the room?
It's entirely staff, but Mary, I believe.
Yes,
Barbara.
that's
Right.
And Mary Burke is here. Susan Campese, Emily Goldstein Murphy, Kareem Taha, who is here helping us with the IT setup for tonight's meeting, because this is new to us. We greatly appreciate his assistance. Me, Neil, John, Alan, Marion, Isaac, and Eleanor.
Thank you.
Who's here. Yep. And then, Mark, we do have people online, and only Susan can see those people. So we do have people who joined remotely as well.
We have, if you want to know, some staff here, Claire and Molly, and then we have Tucker Holland and Jason Graziadei. Looks like 2 Jason Graziadei's are here.
So maybe there's two people from the current, is what I would assume. So. All right, Emily, without further ado, please take it away.
Great, thanks for having me back. This is going to be the quarterly update from the Environmental and Agricultural Resources Department that will cover from January through March of this year. So first, we'll just start off with our winter fieldwork and office update. Lots of time this winter has gone into focusing on permitting, both through Natural Heritage, the Conservation Commission, and other state agencies on a variety of properties, many of which I will touch on later in the presentation. We have been doing a lot of training as a department. So most of the land bank staff went through first aid CPR training. So you should all feel very safe in here tonight.
Very much so, yeah.
But we've done that. A number of the members of the department have been working on pesticide applicator certification. Molly Cahill was kind enough to run a series of GIS tutorials for us, which has been really, really great. And also she's been working on her timber harvester license training. I have been working with members of the staff on some mentoring with outreach and public walk speaking and just dealing with various members of the public on those kind of topics. For planning, we have been thinking about our summer season. So the specifics of this are not very important, but just to see the seasonal aspect of our work, we have been trying to be very organized coming into the summer season, knowing basically the blocks of time that we'll be spending on each task. Other planning that we've been working on is firming up protocols for our regular surveys, instituting some new surveys. So these regard permanent forest plots, so we can see the progress where we do our forest management, and also really getting a handle on the invasive species that we manage across the properties and trying to get an understanding on where progress is being made or where we may be losing ground against expanding invasive populations. Recently, we've been able to get outside doing some spring cleanups on the properties. So these 2 pictures show Easton Street down here, and this is the ferry trail, which we've been working on cleaning up these last few months. Also, it's April. That means shorebird season has started. If anyone has been out on the beaches, they may have seen the fences have gone up. Those are required to go up by April 1st every year. Again, the land bank is collaborating with the Town of Nantucket Natural Resources Department, and we have rehired the shorebird monitor that we had last year. Her name is Anya Almeida, and she will be working in collaboration with us and with the Natural Resources Department to monitor the shorebirds. This is a reminder of the outside research that we are hosting on land bank property. It's great to be able to make the public land available to researchers both on Nantucket and from institutions off island. So we have researchers from UMass Amherst, UMass Boston, and Nantucket Conservation Foundation who have active projects going on right now. Again, outreach is a big focus of the department. So in the last 3 months, we've had a number of events and series. Molly and Anna have been working with the new school on a coast to coast series with the 8th graders. And they have done 6 of 9 segments. So they have 3 left to go. They're almost all the way across the island. On each of these walks, they have an ecological or Nantucket-based science topic where they educate the students a little bit on that topic over the course of the walk. I think some of you may have been at the recent Winter Wellness Walk that was in collaboration with Fairwinds at the Beechwood Farm property. The staff also participated in the Science Festival, which is run by Mariah Mitchell Association. Isaac recently led the bilingual seed starting workshop in collaboration with the Historical Association Festa Fiesta, and along with our translator, Maria. There's ongoing outreach about the Francis Street project, and Rachel mentioned it before, but I'll just put in another plug for my presentation at the Athenaeum this Friday at 6:30 p.m. It's free. Danielle from NCF and myself will be talking about southern pine beetle, what happened in the outbreak a couple years ago, and the management that's happened since. And then on Saturday, there will be a walk at Westgate, and on Sunday, a walk at Gardner Farm. And both of those are at 11 o'clock. All right, so moving on to our projects that we have going on, just a few to highlight here is the Lily Pond project. Work is continuing with Horsley Witten. A number of permitting actions have taken place over the last several months. Most notably is that the Army Corps permit has been submitted, so progress is ticking along in the background on this. And this is a picture that you saw last time. It's Charles Johnson from the sewer stormwater department getting ready to go and deploy one of our water flow samplers. We're actually going to be deploying another one next week along with an auto sampler, so be able to practice getting the data in before construction happens. Okay, and then Bike Park, as you've heard a few times recently, the process is continuing on this. This is the updated concept design that you saw recently. The change in design, however, has necessitated going back to Natural Heritage to have them review the change in plan on this, and we met with them recently. They understand the reasoning behind changing the plans absolutely, and have a few more questions to investigate before giving their final go ahead on this. So we're working through it, and in general, it was quite a positive conversation. So Mill Hill will be a big focus of the department this year. So I have it as a season of assessment, and really the goal is to observe the property through the spring, summer, and early fall, see how the usage changes, where are people going, what are they doing in the property, are there any problem areas, what's the situation with invasive species, and just as we observe it, do we come up with ideas on how the lead bank could bring better function to the area? So ideas that we have right now, I mean, it's a blank canvas in our opinion, so nothing is really off the table, but I think the idea of an active trail or exercise trail is popular in the community, so that's something we have in mind. Also, we heard from a community member who has very fond memories of beach plums in the park. So something along the lines of a foraging trail, perhaps an accessibility trail. Really, the property could be multiple things to multiple people. So I love hearing all of these ideas on how we can make it that. Also considering additional access points and parking options to get the best function for the park. All right, in collaboration with the property management department, we do a lot of work this winter in planning the winter habitat management, planning the summer habitat management. This is a example of the habitat management booklets that we've worked with together, and this allows us to track how much has been managed or mowed or burned or whatever it is, and when it was done, what machine did it, who did it, so that we can track this for properties that have a permitting component to them. Or if not, we just know what happened when it happened. So this is our tracking. As an example, this is the property at Heller Way. This is Hummock Pond Road, this is Heller Way, and this is Westerwick. So this property is being managed for mitigation for the Cisco Beach parking lot. And this was the planned area, the blue area up top. And I'm going to show you a beautiful picture from our new drone that shows the management that Jeff did a few weeks ago. So
That's now.
that's now.
Nice.
Thank you for the drone. We're making good use of it.
We are.
You
You'll see,
certainly are.
you'll see several drone pictures now in the rest of the talk, but I think that this is, you can just see both the great management that Jeff was able to do, but also the quality of the picture that you can see. It really gives a good handle on what's going on the property. So
And how
it's a
accurate
fantastic tool.
Is it on the property lines, the actual, and there's the green lines up there? Are they just superimposed afterwards?
They're
or
superimposed, so that's the town GIS.
giant time GIS?
Yeah.
Nice.
Exactly. And then forest management has been another big collaborative project with the property management department. If you remember from my last presentation here, we were managing Gardner Farm and Hinsdale. Gardner Farm was done in-house with our in-house forest management crew. We have from left to right, Tom, Anna, Molly, Isaac, Mike Herf, Jeff, and Rico. Fantastic crew this year.
Yeah, you guys did a lot.
Did a lot, yeah. So these are some overhead pictures of Gardner. You can see there is a machine here. There's a dumpster full of chips here. So it is an action shot. You can see that the trees are less dense than they used to be. So progress is happening.
Has this helped? I mean, it's probably too much for us, a quick answer. The clearing has definitely helped slow the pine beetle.
So it's increased the resilience of this property to southern pine beetle. You can see from these drone pictures that we don't seem to have an active outbreak right
Yep.
here, so that's great.
That feels like success.
Yeah, so this picture right here is from last summer before our management season. And this is from last month after. So the areas that we're looking in are circled in red. So if you look closely, you can see that the trees here are more dense than they are here.
Right, and you can see last year quite clearly on
And
the
you
way.
can see last year very clearly. So that nothing changed here in this unit between those two pictures, but yeah, you can see where we're headed next, which is the
There.
middle area.
Yeah,
So that's another great use of the drone. And Claire is really becoming a lot more comfortable with flying it and getting these images when we want to see them. So it's
that's
a,
quite high. I would
it's a
imagine.
great tool to have.
She and Tom, is there anybody else or just she and
Jeff.
Tom? Jeff, they all took basically a really high level certification class that allows them to get clearance to do this, and they know exactly what they're supposed to do and who they're supposed to ask. And
It's all official.
it's very official.
Okay, so here are some on the ground before and after photos. These are both at the same place, so it's at one of our photo points. So this was in December before the management happened. You can see, if you look very carefully through the trees, you're looking out onto one of those fields that's in Gardner. And you see a blue spot, which means that that tree is meant to be cut down. And then this is after. You can see that blue spot tree is gone. You can see the fields much more clearly. What we're looking for with this management is increased airflow in the forest. So we've achieved that goal. The airflow is a deterrent to an outbreak of southern pine beetles.
It also reduces fire hazards as well. Added benefit.
So this is Hinsdale, and our major goal with this forest management was fire prevention in addition to the pine resilience. If you remember, there was a small forest fire in May of 24. It was right around here. So this brought our attention to the property as an area where action should be taken to decrease the available fuel load. So this project was done through the procurement process, and a contractor was in the woods during February and March, and it is still a work in progress. We're hoping to open it very soon, but you can see right now, this was a before picture, this is an after picture. We are continuing to work on the trails to be able to open it back up to the public. But again, a really great result on reducing the fuel load and increasing the airflow into those trees. All right, and then moving on from forest management to permitting and project work, which really is the domain of Elizabeth Phelps, who is fantastic at what she does. So she looks after Conservation Commission matters, the NOIs, she presents at the commission, and as a result, is the logical person to be shepherding those projects from permitting through to implementation. So some of the projects that she really has worked on in the last few months, drainage at 19 Wallwinnet, ADA upgrades at Long Pond Landing, and this picture here is at Matic-Sham Beach. So this was a collaborative project with the Conservation Foundation, getting this access sorted out, planting grass necessitated, Concom, Natural Heritage, and coordination of the two, NCF and Land Bank staff to get that beach grass in the ground, and it's a beautiful result. She's also been looking at water sampling, water levels at Lily Pond and other areas, and she does track contractor invoices when we have them working at multiple properties. And then our final slide, and I saved for Isaac, who's still sitting right here. He's been working mainly on fencing at Mount Vernon, getting that set up, researching the wells out there, looking into capacity and the location and arrangement of them, updating licenses for the farmers, arranging for them to come in and give presentations like we heard from Eden recently, and also a lot of outreach. So he, in addition to the bilingual seed starting workshop, which you see here, he's done other seed workshops for the farmers at the community gardens, and has also met with those that are interested in using the greenhouse at the community garden at Hummock Pond Road, and worked on cleaning up and firming up that site there. So that, I am happy to take any questions on our busy activities for these last few months.
Marcia, you can just
Mark?
speak.
Mark, can you hear us?
Yes, I can, yeah. A question, I was walking out in Gardner Farm recently, and where our land abuts the Audubon Society, are we cutting in Audubon area, or are they assisting us?
So they did forest work, very similar forest work last year as well. So we are not cutting on their property and they're not cutting on our property,
Okay.
but they're similar work.
All right, and then I noticed a number of you mentioned that some of those trees have the little blue tapes on them, markings on them. I'm confused. Those are the ones that have to go, or they're the ones that stay?
So the ones with blue paint were planned to go. Not all of the ones with blue paint ended up being cut. So that if you're out there walking, you will still see some trees with paint on. But for now, those ones have had reprieve.
All right, thank you.
And I would guess, just as an observation, that getting all this new equipment is a really, Jeff was saying, just dramatically increase production.
Absolutely. So a lot of lessons were learned between the management that they did last winter and the management that they did this winter. And the new machinery has been a huge benefit for them in increasing their efficiency and safety. But I'll probably let him speak more about that when he comes to the next meeting to give his update.
Perfect. No, that's a great presentation. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Indeed, properties look wonderful, the cutting and mowing, really is an improvement.
Thank you. Thank you.
Susan, do we have any public questions? Any
No.
questions from the public, comments?
You raise your hand.
If you do, please raise your hand. If not, we will move on to our next agenda item. Thank you so much, Emily. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. You knocked out of the park again. Next up, Maxi Pond, budget request to close public access.
Oh, yes.
Um,
We're not quite there yet. So this was just brought back because the commission had requested one more chance to review this site and take a look at the property. Just as a, that's okay. Susan, just so you know, Susan has by far the hardest job tonight.
yes.
So she's doing about 5 things while the rest of us are.
Just air traffic control and flying the plane.
Yes. So I'm really impressed. So going back to Maxi Pond, we have our abutter that we're all familiar with, adjacent to the parking area and the picnic area at Maxi Pond. And their request is to close the parking in front of their fence line. That the commission requested that be tabled until this meeting for a vote. And I was wondering if anybody had additional questions or discussion on this issue.
I know, John, you wanted to double check and look.
All I saw was a big house with nothing but glass in it.
I know.
It's his house,
And I've had more feedback on this issue than many others in all the years I've been on the land bank. And it just, I hope this isn't a trend going forward, because if it looks like a dog and barks like a dog, it's probably a NIMBY. And this fits the description.
We can stop the trend right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll make a motion to refuse to cut off the parking.
Okay.
I'll second.
Second, any further discussion?
No.
Okay.
I perhaps might have said it all.
All right, thank you very much. We need a
So-
roll call vote.
A roll call vote. I'm gonna, John, how do you vote? Alan? Mark?
Well, actually, I've had my hand raised to say this. I went back and reviewed the conflict of interest course that I took last week with the Attorney General, and so I shall once again be recusing myself.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for looking into that. So we have a quorum here to vote on this. We just voted, right?
We just
voted. Yeah, sorry, I know, interrupted.
We're all
with
set.
it. Yeah,
The chair
we're all
has to
set.
vote.
So then the chair votes yes,
Thank
to
you very much.
not to deny, not to. Thank you.
Yes, not to close the parking
Yeah, just so we're quite
at
clear.
Maxi Pond.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Now we're 48 South.
Yep, we are on to 48 South Cambridge Street, Long Pond Landing. This is one of the properties where we've been requested to make accessibility upgrades. We were under the impression that what we had done was fully ADA, but we received feedback that it perhaps wasn't as easy to access as it could be. So we're proposing additional upgrades, and that's what you're looking at tonight. We would like to change the gravel parking spot to concrete and then remove the Carstone path. And our intention is to basically install boardwalks in the areas that you see the brown. And we would also remove some crushed stone and restore it with grass. So those areas where we put in grass would not actually be ADA anymore. And the focus would be on those boardwalk paths to allow complete access to the dock and the viewing deck, as well as the parking spot. So. I just want to make sure that the commission's on board with this project. We'll be figuring out a budget and either doing this in-house or most likely putting it out for bid. We were hoping to do it sooner, but because there's permitting required, it might take as long as until the fall. But we will be expediting it.
Okay, do you need a vote on this?
Yes, please. Could we have a vote on the upgrades and the design changes, please?
I make a motion to accept the upgrades and the design changes.
Thank you. Second?
I have a
Yeah.
No, we'll get to that if you,
I'll second it.
thank you. Now we'll go round. We'll start with you, Alan.
What was the problem with the stones? I thought they were fine. And I've been up there, I don't know how many times, I stopped every time I'm in that area.
You didn't bring your wheelchair.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
You didn't, what happened was somebody tried to access the property who was in a wheelchair, and being pushed by somebody who was elderly and probably not that strong. And the stones were just soft enough that it was really hard to move. And so they communicated to the land bank. They also communicated to the Commission on Disability. And, so we went out and reviewed this. I do think there's a little bit of confusion in that the surface that we use, I don't know if it was used. It was supposed to be accessible.
Yeah.
But what we're focused on is really the fact that it's not, in practice accessible. So even if it meets code, it's not actually functioning as such.
And you said the parking area is going to be concrete?
One section, the parking area, the ADA parking spot. We have the same thing at the Backman property at 158 Orange Street. We have a single space that's concrete. We similarly, Lily Pond has brick for the accessible spot. So it just turns out that really gravel is not a great option, even if you put it in the grid.
I see, so it's not the whole parking lot that's gonna be concrete?
Nope, we're gonna leave everything. We'll just pull that one section out.
I'm completely in favor of this, but would it be possible to get a price on the washed concrete that is up at Lucille Hurley's Park?
Yes, we like that first and foremost, the aggregate exposed.
Yeah,
aggregate concrete.
it looks,
I'll let we get up at, the part of the.
Yep.
yeah.
Yes, totally. We could do that.
Okay, Mark, do you have anything to say?
No, I mean, I'm reluctantly going along with this because we have to. So I say we move forward.
He reluctantly is going along with this because we have to, and he says we should move forward.
Okay, well, if no other commissioners have anything else to say, I would take a roll call on a vote. John?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
The chair votes aye too. Thank you.
Susan, is there anybody who wanted to
No.
comment on that? Okay.
Mary, do you have anything for us?
Listening.
Just,
Just came by to
feel
see.
like I don't know enough about
Which I think is
Land
fantastic.
Bank, so I'm gonna try
Well,
taking a
first,
break from the HTC. This is so much better, or less intense.
So the next two items are tabled.
Okay,
We are not ready to deal with either of those contracts until the following meeting. And then we're headed,
So I'm gonna stop sharing the screen because we have
Yep.
more documents.
you can stop sharing the screen, and we're headed into transfer business.
we need a vote, I believe, to
Make a motion to approve the transfers.
look for a second.
There are two new first-time homebuyers. So one's a
Uh,
reach.
Mark, your, any comments on voting on the transfer business? If not, I'll go straight. to vote.
None.
All in favor? John? Alan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Thank you, and the chair's aye. So I'm just gonna sign and pass these around. Is it just one signature?
One signature each.
Thank you. This is where we multitask and try and do the approval of the minutes too.
Okay.
Okay, well, we're signing. I would ask if everyone has read the minutes and they have any changes. If not, I would ask for a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Second. Mark, any comments?
No,
Good. Okay, I'm going straight to a vote. John? Alan? Mark?
aye.
And the chair, aye. Thank you. I can't sign for Christina, can I?
Think you can.
I don't-
Just do it.
I don't think I want, no.
Oh, for the minutes.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can change that.
We can.
That's all right. I'm quite happy to let Christina do it.
Oh, she wasn't.
Or whatever, if I need to come back in and
You
sign
can
it.
sign and we'll cross out under. and change
Okay,
it to
I'll
your
sign
name.
it then. Thank you.
Sorry about that. I'm not sure.
That's quite all right. Sign. Chair for a meeting. There we go. Okay, we have consent items up next. We have monthly transfer statistics, we have warrant authorization, cash disbursements, 50 Old South Road Discovery Playground, and then Nantucket Community Schools Playgroup Property Use Request.
I make a motion to approve the consent items as printed.
As one vote, thank
Yes.
you.
I'll second.
Second that. Any commission discussion? Seeing none, I'll go right to a vote. John,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
and Neil, aye. Thank you. So very quickly, that brings us to commissioners' additional questions and concerns.
Does anybody have any additional questions and concerns?
We,
I think if there's no, oh, yes, Alan.
We're going to take a look at that property tomorrow, is that correct?
Thursday.
Yes, but that will be, this is an executive session discussion,
session.
so we will table that until executive session.
If no one has anything else, I would expect a motion to go into executive session with the full knowledge that we will be adjourning directly afterwards and not returning to open session.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Oh, sorry, John?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
And Neil, aye.
I need to do some housekeeping,
Yeah,
make sure
so-
that everybody leaves except for Mark from the webinar.
We have to, give Susan a second to have everyone,
Eject people, I guess.
we just have to give Susan a second to eject everyone and make sure she's shut down
Yeah,
everything or to, move into executive session.
Don't tase me.
I won't, you're.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, thank you, Emily. Thank you.
thank you.
Hold on, some are not being removed. Oh, they're. Two panelists. That's me, I guess. Three attendees. And I want to stop recording. Sorry. That's okay.
Exactly. Yeah.